Hi, Stitchy-rinos. How is everybody? Life here. Last time I made a video was the end of March, and here we are. It's the end of May. What have I been doing? We have been very busy. We decided to sell our house. It wasn't really anything that it was kind of on our radar in the back of our minds, but the house right next to my mom's went up for sale. And we were kind of like, maybe that would be kind of nice at this point. So we went and we talked to the owners. They're my mom's neighbors. Of course, she's very friendly with them. And we actually ended up doing a for sale by owner with them. Or that's what we're entered into right now. It's not, nothing is finalized yet. But they have accepted our offer. And we have since put our house on the market. So our house just went on the market this past Friday. So as you can imagine, there was a lot of organizing, a lot of planning, a lot of staging, a lot of everything. In fact, we had a showing already this morning. I have another one this afternoon. And I just was like, I have to film a FlossTube or I'm not going to have time. So anyway, that's what we have been doing. We are hoping, things with our house have been very, very positive. So we are hoping that it won't be on the market very long. I think, yeah, like I said, it hit the market this past Friday, and I think we've had 5 or tonight will be, oh, maybe it's 7. I don't know. We've had several showings. So, and the feedback has been very positive. So that's good. I don't think it'll be on the market very long. Why are we selling? Because our kids are done with the school district now. This is a very nice school district where we live. We are out in the country. This house is on a little lake, and we also have a cabin that's on a lake up north, and we don't need 2 lake places. And by the way, in Minnesota, we are not rich. In Minnesota, having a house on a lake is, I mean, we're the land of 10,000 lakes. We have lakes for days here. So it's just the way Minnesota is. So I know some of you are going, oh my gosh, I got 2 lake places. But in Minnesota, we kind of take that for granted. Everybody's got a place up north. So we've, anyway, so we have we don't, lake places are kind of a lot of work. There are docks to put in, there are boats to maintain, there are shorelines to, keep looking good. And this is a bigger piece of property. It's hard to keep the snow cleared in the wintertime. So we are going to move into town next to my mom, which is kind of cool. And we're excited, and my mom's excited. So it will be a lot of fun. And not that she needs any help or anything right now. My mom is doing just fine on her own. And yeah, it'll be nice to have her as my next door neighbor. So anyway, that's what's been going on with us. So, and that's why we're selling, and why it was kind of spur of the moment, but it's time. So I'm going to start with, I've got a lot to show you, lots of stuff to show you. It's fun. It's going to be fun. Buckle in, everybody. It's going to be fun. Okay. All right. First, I'm going to show you some finishes that I did. Whoops, I'm throwing them now. Okay. All right. These I showed you before. I didn't show them stuffed, I don't believe. But this was from Not Forgotten Farm. And this was a little small that I stuffed. It was called Sewing Basket, Prim Sewing Basket Pin Keep or something. It's in Punch Needle and Primitive Stitcher magazine. This is just being held in by I put this bow on a pin. That's kind of how she had hers featured in the magazine. So it's got that fun ribbon. So this was fun. It's stitched up very quick. These buttons on the pattern, these are supposed to be stitched, but I thought it would be cute with just like real buttons. So that's what I did. And I filled it with sawdust, and it's very firm, and it holds. I love the way sawdust holds its shape. It's not like a bean bag where things slide around in there. It's just very firm. So that was my first finish. Second finish was Walt the Malt. This was in the Just Cross Stitch Ornament issue. Oh gosh, I can't remember when. But this needed a redo, so I restuffed it also with sawdust. That's the back. So that one. And then the other one I did was this one. This one's a little bigger. It's a punch needle. Also filled with sawdust. In fact, you can still see some of it on there. Yeah. So, and that was a punch needle from Pine Mountain Designs, I think. So, yeah. So those are those finishes. Then I made a really cool project bag. So I don't know if many, so this is my project bag. This is not stitched. This is fabric. This is flannel fabric. And my mom had these little, she had this fabric, and it's a flannel, but it looks cross-stitched. And she bought it, of course, years ago with me in mind. And so she had some leftovers. She made like a big quilt out of it, and it's a really fun, prim-looking quilt. And this is all stuff from my stash. I had this metal zipper, I had this buffalo plaid fabric, and the reason that I did this is, remember I said I wanted to do something fun with this? This was a pattern that was supposed to be a needle roll, and this was from Primitive Quilts and Projects magazine that Teresa bought for me at market. And Jen made one and Teresa made one, and it's meant to be like a sewing roll. But I don't use sewing rolls and things like that very much. I kind of have, I don't use them. And so I just thought, well, what else could I do with that? So this is what I did. I put it on the back of this fun little project bag. It's got a little handle, zips here. So, and this was a project bag. This is the extra large size, and it's from by Annie. Is that what it is? Project Bags by Annie. And the pattern comes with like 4 different sizes. This is the largest size. So, yeah. So I whipped that together. That was fun. So those are my finishes. And then I will get into, this is my whips. This is, I'll move on to my whips now here. This is the one that I've worked on the most. This is from Needlework Press, 1896 Alpha Block Sampler. And this one has been very fun. I am doing this with Needle and Spoons, Deb, and her sister Kathy. We met at the Country Sampler Retreat last year. We met through Michelle Rudy, actually. But the 3 of us are all stitching this together. And what we did is we broke it up into 12 parts, which honestly, this is kind of my favorite new way to do larger projects. So you can see how I made a photocopy of the front, and then I just kind of drew lines to say, okay, here's what this, like this area here, that was February. This was March. This was April. This was May. So, and I always start in the bottom right. They are starting in the upper left. So it's kind of fun to see how they look compared to one another. So this is how mine has been turning out so far. It is very, very fun to work on. I switched some letters around. This is the only block that has 2 letters in it. And so I put my initials in there. And as I go along, if I don't care for the way something is colored, or if I don't like, the color choice, or if it doesn't stand out, I just kind of swap it out with something that I do like. So it's been, it's just been very fun to stitch. Like every time you finish one of those little motifs, you feel like you've made a big accomplishment. So I just have June to go here, and then I can start on the second half. And it's fun because now, because they started at the top left and I started at the bottom right, our samplers are starting to converge now. So we're both getting into, you know, we're kind of like seeing how it looks all together. But yeah, isn't that fun? Fun sampler, very fun. Needlework press. So that's that one. The next one that I've been working on is one that I'm doing with my friend Kathleen Salick of Kathleen's Trodden Trail. So this one is from BYARTINA Designs. And it is, I don't have a really great picture of it, but I will hold it up. It's a collaborative sampler. It's called Sisters by BYARTINA Designs. And so what you do is, if you see in the picture here, you stitch both sides and you personalize both sides, and then you cut it in half and you trade and swap with another stitcher who you're stitching it with. And for me, that is Kathleen. So I don't know if you can see that little picture right there. It's about the best picture that you get with this pattern. You can download this from Creative Poppy. And so that's how it looks. Now we change the colors in ours a little bit, and I will show you how I am coming along on this one. So I have my top part all done, and I used, that's how my mom used to spell Susie when I was a little kid, S-U-S-I-E. And of course my last name was different when I was a kid, but we're just pretending that, and Kathleen is doing her last name now, not her maiden name either. So, and that's how I'm doing on the second half. So when this part is all stitched, this, you can see I pulled out a linen line so I would know where to cut. But yeah, we'll cut it in half, and we will send the top part off and swap that. So Kathleen will get this side and I will get Kathleen's top part. And so it'll have our, and then you sew them, you reattach them. So you sew them together right here, and then you do, I love those little X's on there. Can you see those little X's? So, and so when we had our little get together in February, that is when we picked out these fabrics at her local, or at the local needlework shop near Sioux Falls. So, is it Beresford? Can't remember the name of the shop now. I'm terrible. I'll put it down below. But anyway, so that is that one. I'm doing that with Kathleen. Next one, Anniversaries of the Heart. I didn't get a whole lot done on this one. This is the one that I'm working on right now, Clara Ellen. And this one is in honor of my daughter, Ellen. And I did something a little bit different in the personalization area. I put her initials, and I'll show you, it looks really light, but I think it's going to be okay. And I'll unfold the whole thing so you can see the whole thing at some point. All right. So this is what I did for hers. And I put a quote on hers. And Ellen has a very, she's a very giving person. She volunteers and does things like that. But this one, it says, no one has ever become poorer by giving. So this is a little bit lighter than I had hoped it would be, but I still think it's going to be okay. Once I fill in this house is a really pretty, let me see if I can put my thread over. It's kind of a chartreusey color, this house. So I think the house and everything, I think that's all going to pop with the green and the flowers down here. I'll put it right next to each other. I think it's going to be just fine. And then in the urn there, I'll put her the year she was born. So yeah, that's what I'm doing on that. I'll unfold the whole thing so you can see how far I am. Whoop. Throw in clips here. I'm sorry, I didn't iron anything. All right. So I did my paternal cousins in this square. I still might do some little fill-in things here and here. Something, it looks kind of bare. I need to add something there. But I did all their initials. If your initials are in pink, then you are a girl. If they're in blue, you're a boy. Same here. I have a lot of girl cousins, not as many boy cousins. So paternal and maternal cousins. That's the bonus square. That's the square for Phil and I. This is my little square. So I've kind of been jumping around, as you can see. So, and I have to personalize this one down here also. I have to add years and things like that. I just wasn't really sure what I wanted to do yet on that. So I've got a loose plan, but yeah, that's a big one, but it's going to be so pretty when it is all done. I can't wait. And there's one more row, whoops, that goes over here, like down here. There's another row that I haven't gotten over to that point yet. So, and I mix mine up different from the way the chart calls for it also, because I did. I never do anything according to the directions usually. I always mess something up. And I shouldn't say mess it up, but I mean, I knew I wanted to do something different. So I did. And then I had a new start. No business starting something new, but I just couldn't stand it anymore. And I had pulled all the colors. And the one that I am working on is, let me find the picture, Rachel Long from Needle Made Designs. It was one of my, I think it was my favorite one from Market this year. I loved this sampler. I just thought it was so, so, so pretty. So I kind of did my own conversion. I got very close. I have all these belle soies, and so I thought, well, what the heck? I also have some needlepoint silks. So these are the colors, and they're very, very pretty. I can't wait to get to like this pink. But yeah, you can see the colors there. There's like a light blue in here. Colors are just beautiful. They look so nice together. There's some Gloriana needlepoint silks and some belle soie. I mean, they're so pretty. How pretty they are. And they're so soft. So soft. So let me show you my progress. I haven't gotten very far. I'm just working on the border. So this is my meager finish, or meager beginning here. That's it. Just working around. And I'm a little close on the edges, but it's going to be fine. I like to frame things kind of tight. So I've just started on the bottom part there. So I wanted to start it. So that is that. Rachel Long by Needle Made Designs. All right, and then I'll show you my knitting whip. Been working on the same one for a while. It is this one. It's called Miss Winkle. It's got some really neat loops on one edge, which I think is so, so cool. And you just knit until the skein is gone. So you can see I have a ways to go. But this is what this one looks like. So here's the edge with the little loops. Hold it up on the board. Maybe you'll be able to see it better. Yeah. So when you block it, then you put a dowel through all of these loops. So it'll be a triangle shape. Maybe if I turn it here. It'll be a big triangle shape when it's done. So we're getting along, and I have to, I'm going to have to switch out I have these interchangeable needles, so I'm going to have to make my little loop bigger, because we're starting to run out of room here. So you can see I'm running out of room, but yeah. So that's Miss Winkle. This yarn was gifted to me by my friend Jackie, who is Packer Fan Knits on Instagram. She sent me a couple skeins of yarn when I started knitting. So yeah, so very, very cool, neat little knitting project. I like to knit in the car. just because it's a lot easier. So than cross stitch a lot of times, especially smaller counts. So, okay, I'm going to show you a haul now. I got a lot of haul. This is, I've been having a good time in quarantine, I have to say. Well, and I haven't really been quarantined. I've been working, but I've found some good things to buy online. First of all, I bought some fabrics, actually just one fabric from Hand Dyed by Stephanie. Is that what they're called? Seraphim Hand Dyed Fabrics by Lori. Sorry, gosh, I screwed it up. Seraphim. There's so many new dyers out, and I think that's awesome. Okay, this one is called Bump in the Night, and it's a 32 count. And I just thought it was a really pretty color. I had something in mind for it, but I don't know if I'm going to use it for that now. But you can see it says Zweigart base. You can see the little orange strip there. It's a very pretty color, and I like the modeling in it. It comes all serged. Let me see if I put it up on the board here. Yeah. So it's a real subtle modeling. Yeah, and I like it. It's very pretty. I got an 18 by 26 cut, which I think, is that a quarter or is that a half? I think it's a quarter. Yes, it is. So that is hers. That is that one. And I'll hold up the little card here so you can see. Seraphim Fabrics. Okay. And this one is called Bump in the Night. All right. So there's that. Then I had, I'm gonna go through the charts first, and then I bought 3 kits. Isn't that crazy? 3 kits. Okay, Pineberry Lane and Lancaster's needlebook. I probably won't make it into a needlebook. That's what the needlebook looks like. It's very cute, very prim. Doesn't look like it would be very hard, but I just really like that little design. And it says Anne Lancaster. It says her name, like you can see A-N-N-E, and then over here she starts off with Lancaster. And I just think that's kind of fun how she put her letters in there. I don't know if it's a reproduction. It might just be from the mind of Pineberry Lane, but I like that one. So there's Pineberry Lane. Next I got this one from Teresa, from Kitten Stitcher. This is from Cross Stitch Antiques. It's the Headmistress Sampler Series. I just liked the colors, and I liked all those motifs. I thought it looked very fun. This is obviously the original, but look at that fun butterfly. And you've got this fun rose over here. This one's called Whenever I Take My Walks Abroad, and that's what the saying is. Whenever I take my walks abroad, oh, how does it go? It's really a nice little saying. Whenever I take my walks abroad, how many poor I see, what shall render to my God for all his gifts to me? Or what shall I render? Sorry, I missed the I. Yeah, it's just a really pretty pattern, and I really, really liked it. So I picked that up. And then this is another one that I picked up at Kitten Stitcher. Abra Loney. Lowney or Loney, I'm not sure. But this is what the original looked like. And I like that. There's some little specialty stitches in there. Some fun things. I like the colors of this original a lot. Sorry, my glare is terrible. But yeah, so there's that one, Abra Lowney. I thought it was funny. Teresa in the description said what if her last name was Cadabra? Or maybe she said her middle name. I wonder if her middle name is Cadabra. Abracadabra. Yes, in the mind of Teresa. And then this one I picked up. I have always loved these. I also have the spring one. I would change the colors, but I've always loved these girls. I think they're so fun. I like the spring one and I like the fall one. The summer one's neat too. I'm not a fan of the winter one for some reason, but I just love these girls. I love the freckles on her face. I like the birds. And I change the colors a little bit, update them, just make them, I don't know, this one's supposed to be autumn. So, but I've always loved these. So I just picked it up. They had it on sale and I threw it in my cart. Then I've got these three from Country Sampler. I had a credit there because our stitch camp got canceled, of course, because of the virus. And so I couldn't decide, and so I bought a bunch. So Ellen Ford's work. It's just a fun little sampler, but they of course have their own conversion for it. And that is their conversion. Can you see those colors? Yeah. So it looks really, really prim, and I really like how it looks on their site. So this is much more bright. And this one is actually done with wools. The pattern calls for wool threads, but these are all cottons. So you can see Buckeye Scarlet. They had Simply Wool. That's what the pattern calls for. But they do their own version and it's really fun. So I like that one. And then this is another Country Sampler conversion. So this is from Not Forgotten Farm, Lori Brecklin, Old Mustard Moon. And it's got a really fun house. It's got the vowels, which I think is fun. I like those clouds. And I also love, I think this is like an outhouse next to the house. You don't see that very often. But they have their own version, and their version is so cool. They stitch it on Picture This Plus 32 count murky. And this murky is really a cool fabric color. This one I'm going to open up so you can see, because this fabric color is awesome. I'm going to move my threads out of the way here so you can see. Isn't that fun? Very, very fun fabric with those fun colors. So their version is a lot of fun. So that was another one I couldn't resist. And the next one is Jen's Fault from Jen's Stitching Niche, because ever since she showed this sampler years ago, well, was it years ago? Maybe not, maybe a year ago that she had finished it all up, I've just been fixated on it. Sorry, okay. And that is Grace Bridges by Stacy Nash. I love this sampler. I love those funky birds. I love that big mustard colored house. I love everything about it. So they kitted this one up for me. This is all the colors that it calls for. And then I think it calls for Weeks Parchment, I think. And the Weeks Parchment is almost all, well, I guess it's very, very hard to find right now. So they used a linen called Hog Bristle. And Hog Bristle is from Fox and Rabbit Designs. And it's a very, very pretty color. So I'm going to give Hog Bristle. Fox and Rabbit is out of Australia. And her husband dyes it. So he does a very good job. It's a pretty color. So I'm anxious to start that one. And then the last thing that I thought I would do is just kind of go through some things in my stash, some patterns that I absolutely love that are on my short list. Not that I'm a super duper fast stitcher because, well, I haven't been able to much lately, but I've been able to keep up with my quota. But these are just things that are on what some people would say on their short list. So this one here, Gathering the Greens, also a Stacy Nash. And this one I think I'm going to do with Heidi Cran. I threw in some of the flosses that I required, but I really like that one. So I actually ordered some fabric for that last night. So that's one on my short list. Another one that I've ordered fabric for and fibers for is this one from Teresa. This is Ragamuffin 2, a Quaker sampler. This sampler is so pretty. This is, you'll laugh at me, but my screensaver at work is this sampler. I love it. I absolutely love it. I've always loved it. Teresa brings it to market, and I just absolutely adore this sampler. It's so, so pretty. And Teresa did a beautiful job on it. The colors are just so soft. So, I don't know when I'll be able to start that one. I'll be honest, I might not start it until my needlework press one is done. That's one that I might break into 12 parts, and I'll finish it over the course of next year, maybe. I really love that method of breaking things up into 12 parts and giving myself a quota every month with each one. So that might be something that I adopt more often. So, okay, another one on my short list. This one is out of print. I always feel kind of bad showing things that are out of print, but it's so pretty. This one is called June Morning, and it's from The Good Housewife. And Teresa did this one years and years ago, and it sat on top of her piano, and I've always loved it. Like, every time I see it, I'm like, I love that one, and I have to do it. I just have to sit down and do it. It's just DMC. It's not anything complicated at all. You do have to stitch it on black, but I've got a piece of ink spot black R&R ready to go, but I need to get this one done. So this is also on my short list. This one I got from my good friend Penny McCabe. Penny gave this one to me, and I think it was a pass the stash thing at the Midwest Cross Stitch Retreat. And everybody's been stitching Americana, and I would love to start this one this summer. I might bring this one up to the cabin and start it up there, but I think this summer is going to go quick with our move and everything, so that might have to wait till next summer. This one from the Work Basket, Faith, Hope, and Love. How pretty is that? Isn't that fun? Wouldn't that be fun? Just like pick your favorite color of floss and then just go for it. I just love that one. I've always loved that one. Marion Candy from the Work Basket. Faith, Hope, and Love. Just a really fun, skinny design, fun shape. This is another one of my favorites that Teresa has done. This one is her French Cathedral sampler. And the colors in this one are so pretty. Isn't that gorgeous? That cathedral on there. It's in French. This one is another one of my favorites. So that one I would love to start as well. This is a 3-part series. And the printing on it is very poor. I bought these brand new. And I bought them from whoever kind of bought the Sheepish Designs patterns, I guess. And I can't even think of who it is now, but I believe these are still available because I just ordered these a couple years ago. But the printing is not cool at all. It's from Emily's. Is that right? Here, I guess I just found it. Is that right? Emily's Threads of Gold, Sheepish Designs of Antiques out of Belmont, North Carolina. The pattern that I got, the colors, like you can see how faded it is here. it's like they're printing, and see how you can just see like some of the yellow? Like one of the colors wasn't printing. And it makes it look like this sampler is all brown. And I don't know if you're familiar with this, but they have 3 of these. It's a set of 3, and you stitch a long, skinny sampler. So it starts A, B, C, D, and then it moves on to this one. And this one, the colors are also funky. Now, these all use the same colors, and you would never know it by looking at it. But the second one is Alpha Menagerie. And then the third one, which this one is more realistic to the colors, and this one printed well, is Alpha Sheep. And so you can see the 3 of them, they use the same colors, but look at the charts. Like their printer was having a bad day for these 2. And like I said, I bought these brand new, but I don't know why they came out so oddly colored. But anyway, the pattern is correct, and I knew what they look like, so really it's not a big deal. But these stitch, like I said, in a big tall, I don't have a picture. Actually, maybe I do. Look at, I printed one out. Let me show you. I don't know if I have the whole thing on here or not. Maybe I just have part of it. But here's, you get the idea. Yeah, so I think I found that online, and I just printed it out so that I would have some idea what it looks like. So those 3 I would love to do sometime. Alpha Bird, I've always loved this whole set, so I have them. This is a really fun one, and there's lots of specialty stitches in it. It's by Tournicoton. It's French. I'm terrible at French, or even trying to speak French. But it's this big basket, and there's all kinds of specialty stitches in it. I know a lot of people don't like those specialty stitches, but I love the depth that they give samplers. It's all in French. I hope I'm able to figure it out. Time will tell. But yeah, I really, really like that one. So I want to give that one a try one of these days. Have a sip of water here. This is my Paul Bunyan. He reigns supreme in my world. I love Paul Bunyan. Minnesota as you can get. Okay. Let's see. This one I got from Lori Markovic of La Di Da at Market one year. She just gave it to me because she's that nice. I just love this one. It was in her little fetish series. And she just said, like, a bunch of little samplers on your wall is just a fun thing to have. So she started designing all these little small samplers. And I love this one. The parrots. So I got to stitch that one. Phoebe's Forest. I think I've shown this one. But I think I bought this one when I was at the Country Sampler, maybe. Is that where I got it? I feel like that's where I got it. But it's just such a fun little... Look at all those deer frolicking among those fun trees. I like that. They're fun. Kind of a Christmassy vibe to it also. This also has a Christmassy vibe, although you might not think so right away. This is another one of my favorite reproductions that Teresa has done. And this one is Hannah Carter, 1838. And what I love about this one is the Christmas tree. And that is a Christmas tree. And even though you can't see it, there are little gold lights on the underside of all those branches. Can you see them? So it's mostly black, but then there's some gold on the moth, which, by the way, we think the moth is attracted to the lights on the tree. And then there's this bird, but there's just some gold highlights in these motifs right here. I just love this one. So that's on my short list. This one I watched eBay. This is out of print also, and I watched eBay for a long, long time for this one. It's from Just Cross Stitch, and I mean, it's old. Look at, you can see the price that was on it at one time. This is the Sarah Farrow sampler, and I believe this is a Dutch sampler. Am I correct? Yeah, I think so. This house, usually that's very Dutch. And the windmills and the ships, yeah, it's a Dutch sampler. And I really like this one. It kind of has it sort of has a Dutch beauty feel to it, in a way. I mean, some of the motifs kind of remind me of it, and I guess the colors of it do too. But look at that, like, tiled floor. I don't know, I really like that one. So then there's that one. Sorry, I keep getting interrupted. So, all right. The next one I have is a German sampler, and this one is from the Scarlet Letter. This one just has initials, so it's FAKMEK 1779. And I really like this one. Like I said, this is from the Scarlet Letter. I believe it's still available. That picture isn't great. Maybe part of it is the plastic. Let's see if I can slide that out. But yeah, I really, really like that one. Looks like a lot of fun to stitch. There's some fun different stitches in there. Four-sided, Algerian eye. So yeah, I like that one. So that's on my short list. This one, a lot of people have stitched this one. Needlework Press. In all things, be exceedingly diligent. I really like this one. I think I like the shape of it, but I love those little Quaker motifs on this, on the one end here. A little beehive and the bee. Yeah, I think that's a fun one. So I want to get, that's on my short list. Got so many. Some I heard, and you, yeah, I know Mavis showed a bunch of them too, and I don't know, there are not enough hours in the day. This is from Praiseworthy Stitches. I might have showed this one not too very long ago. This is Grace Manor. I really love this one. Look at that fun border. And I don't think this is a reproduction. I think this is right out of the brains of the Praiseworthy Stitches gals. But look at that fun tree on the side of the house and that fun house. The other thing I love about these are these birds that they have around. Can you see those funky birds? Let me see if I can find a better one. They're kind of scattered all around. Here's one on top of the M. Those little birds I like all over. Here's one that's upside down. Right there. Here's another one down here. And there's some peacocks. And what does it say? As beauty adorns the countenance. I think that's what it says. As adorns. What does it say? I can't tell which order it's supposed to be read in. I'm sorry, Pam and Susan. Here's what it says. The verse states, as beauty adorns the countenance, so may grace adorn our hearts. There, sorry. First you have to be smarter than the paper that the pattern's printed on. Yeah, I like that one. I don't know why, I've always liked it. I remember when they released it at Market and we went to their booth and we saw it, and I've always liked it. Those birds got me. And then the last one I have in my short pile was one that I got at Market last year. I think it was last year. And it's another Susan sampler. And as you know, I want to stitch, I want to have a wall of Susan samplers. So it's this one, Susan Spear, 1827. But that sampler is really a fun sampler. There's a lot going on. There's lots of little creatures and people and lots of things happening. And I really, really like that one. So that's another one that's on my short list. So yeah, that's what I've got for you. There's not a whole heck of a lot else to show you right now. Like I said, I've been very, very busy with getting our house staged. I still have so much to go through in our crawl space, and we have a lot of storage in this house, and it is crazy how much you accumulate in 17 years. And I can't even believe we've been here that long. 17 years, like that went fast. So it's crazy how time flies. Have you ever heard that saying, life is like a roll of toilet paper. The closer you get to the end, the faster it goes. That's genuinely how I feel about life these days. But anyway, that's about it. I hope that everybody is doing well, hanging in there, staying healthy, and all that good stuff. So I don't know when I'll be able to share another FlossTube with you. Part of it might be because I won't really have a lot to share. I've been trying to keep up on the Alpha Block sampler, and I've been doing a good job of making sure that I stay on top of that. But other than that, I don't have a lot of spare time just because, like I said, moving is a lot of work. So, I'll see you when I see you. And until then, stay well. I will do the same. See you all later. Bye-bye.